They say he ruled the city without ever pulling a trigger. But 20 years later, behind glass and shackles, he said something that changed everything. It wasn't to a judge, not to a cop, not even to the press. He said it to her, a girl no one knew existed, a girl with his eyes, and her mother's fire. And what he told her, it didn't just shake her world. It blew open secrets the city thought were buried for good, because the man they locked away wasn't done playing God. And the people who heard what he said, they're either missing, dead, or pretending they didn't hear it. But she heard every word, and she didn't run. She came back, with a voice recorder and a loaded gun. Let me take you back to where it all began. Hi, my amazing friends and family. Welcome back to another story for today. If you are ready to enjoy this heartwarming story, smash the subscribe button and comment where you're watching from. I love seeing all your names and places. Also, don't forget to check out more of our interesting videos on the channel. And guess what? Tomorrow, I have got an even more exciting story to share with you that I know you'll love. Now back to the story. The metal door hissed open like something out of a nightmare. The guard didn't speak. He just nodded. Sal Moretti stood up slowly, bones creaking like old floorboards. His orange prison uniform looked too big on him now. His skin hung loose on his frame, but his back was still straight, and his eyes, still cold, still calculating, still dangerous. Two more guards flanked him as they walked, one ahead, one behind, like he was some kind of monster they were afraid might escape. He didn't look at them. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. Sal Moretti had spent 20 years behind bars. He hadn't said a word to anyone, not to the cops, not to the media, not even to the priests. But today, he'd asked to see someone who didn't even know he existed until last week. And now she was here. Elena sat alone in the cold metal chair. Her fingers were locked together, trembling. She kept her face still. She had learned that from somewhere. Maybe from the woman who raised her. Or maybe it was just something that lived in her blood. She didn't know what this man looked like. Not really. The pictures online were old. Some blurry photo of him from a court case. A ghost in a suit, sunglasses hiding everything. But now he was real. And he was walking toward her. Slow, quiet, heavy. The glass between them was thick. Clean. Too clean. The kind of clean that made you feel dirty. She didn't flinch when he sat down. She didn't look away. Neither did he. Then he lifted the phone. She hesitated, then reached for hers. Clicked in her hand. His voice came through like gravel soaked in fire. You think I'm the villain in your story. Pause. But I'm the only reason you're still breathing. Her breath caught in her throat. She tried to speak. Tried to ask something. Anything. But he kept going. Smooth. Slow. Like every word was being carved in stone. You look like her, he said. That stopped her cold. She had your eyes. That same stare. Like she already knew the truth. Even when everyone else was still lying. Elena's fingers gripped the corded phone tighter. You're talking about my mother. He didn't nod. Didn't blink. Your mother, he said, with a voice that sounded too calm, was the smartest person I ever met. Smarter than me. That's what got her killed. Her heart dropped. No, she said. She died of cancer. I was there. I saw. No, he said again, quiet now. Too quiet. She was silenced. Elena's hand fell from her mouth. The room was too still. Too clean. It didn't match the storm inside her. She found something, Sal continued. Something she wasn't supposed to see. Something no one was supposed to survive seeing. She blinked. What? A name, he said. Buried in books no one read. A face. A date. Proof that someone close to me sold me out. Elena shook her head. This sounds like a movie. He gave a soft, bitter smile. Doesn't it? He pressed his palm flat against the glass. Tattooed fingers. A cross. A name inked in black. Something written in old script on his wrist, hard to read, older than her. I gave the order, he said. Her breath stopped. Don't twist it. Don't paint it nice. I gave the order. His voice didn't shake. His eyes didn't water. But something cracked in his voice. I told them to make it look like cancer. And they did. Right down to the records. Elena stood up, the phone dropping slightly. Her chair screeched behind her. You killed her. He didn't move. I protected you, he said. In the only way I knew how. She laughed. But it wasn't funny. Came out sharp, broken. I don't even know who you are. I'm the reason your name isn't in the morgue. She couldn't look at him. Not for a second. But she didn't leave either. Because deep down, some part of her needed more. Needed to know why this monster thought she was worth all this trouble. You called me here, she whispered, slowly picking the phone back up. Why? His eyes narrowed, like he'd been waiting for that question. I'm dying, he said. No cure. No bargaining chip. Clock's ticking. She said nothing. I didn't call you here to apologize, he continued. That would be a waste of both our time. Then what? She snapped. His lips twitched. Almost a smirk. Almost pain. To give you something. She stared. I don't want anything from you. Yes, he said. You do. You just don't know it yet. She narrowed her eyes. What is it? His tone changed then. Softer. Colder. There's a safe. Locker 312. Central Station. Behind the bench with the broken rail. He slid his fingers down the glass, like brushing something off. There's a book in there, hollowed out. It holds the truth. All of it. Names, numbers, places, dates, and one key. Elena blinked. A key to what? He leaned forward, so close the glass fogged from his breath. A door no one once opened. Silence. The hum of the fluorescent lights buzzed above them like insects. The guards stood still, watching, but not interfering. This moment wasn't about them. I don't want to be part of this, Elena said finally. You already are, he said. From the day you were born. She stepped back. I'm nothing like you. He just smiled. I hope not. She turned to go. Wait, he said. She stopped. One more thing. He looked almost tired now. Just a man. Not a monster. Not a legend. Just an old man with nothing left. Ask the man who raised you what really happened. Elena froze. What? He knows, Sal said. He always did. Then he hung up the phone and just sat there, watching her walk away. But the moment she stepped out of that room, something in her heart shifted. The air outside didn't feel free anymore. The sunlight didn't feel warm. There was a weight on her chest now. A question that wouldn't let her go. What did he mean? What did Falco know? And what was behind that locker at Central Station? That night she couldn't sleep. And before dawn broke, she was already on a train. Ticket in one hand. Locker key in the other. A name on her lips she wasn't ready to say. Salvatore Moretti. The man she hated. The man she needed. The man who just rewrote everything she thought she knew. Elena did not move. Her hand was still clutching the phone. Her breath was still caught in her chest. The guards behind her had already started to shift, expecting her to stand and leave. But she stayed frozen in that metal chair, staring through the glass at the man who turned her entire life into a lie. Her mother, her past, even her name. He had broken it all with a quiet voice and steady eyes. Slowly, almost unwillingly, She brought the phone back to her ear. "You said my mother was killed," she whispered. "You said you gave the order. Why?" Sal did not look proud. He did not look cruel. He looked tired, a kind of tired that lived inside the bones. He lowered his head, rubbed his tattooed fingers across his jaw, then met her eyes again. "You were her weakness," he said. "Her only weakness." Elena's throat tightened. "My mother had no weaknesses." Sal smiled a little, not a soft smile, a broken one. "Everyone has one. Even the strongest lion bleeds when someone knows where to cut." She swallowed hard. "Then who wanted her dead?" His voice dropped to a lower tone. "The same person who was hunting you." Goosebumps crawled up her arms. Her breathing stung inside her chest. "No one has been hunting me." "You think so because you made it this far. Your mother died trying to protect you. She hid you under a new name. She moved you across cities. She cut every tie she had, all to keep you invisible. And yet," he leaned forward, hands slowly lifting until his palm rested flat against the glass. "They still found her." The air turned colder, almost heavy. Elena grabbed the edges of the table to keep her hands from shaking. "Tell me who did it." Sal's eyes softened for the first time. "If I say the name out loud, you will not make it to tomorrow. There are ears in this prison. There are eyes too. And some of the people watching do not work for the law." Elena felt her pulse jumping. "So you are telling me someone in here is connected to your enemies?" "Connected," he said. "Owned." A whisper of fear crawled up her spine. She glanced toward the guards. One of them stared back, stone-faced and hollow. His eyes did not blink. "Why did you bring me here?" she whispered. "Why now?" Sal did not answer immediately. He studied her, as if he was memorizing her face. "You are the last thing I care about," he finally said. Her chest stung. It felt like something sharp slipped between her ribs. "Do not say that," she snapped. "You ordered my mother's death. You left me alone. You left me with strangers. You do not get to say I am the last thing you care about." He nodded slowly, like he respected the anger. "Your mother knew I was dangerous. She knew loving me would destroy her. But she loved me anyway. And when she realized someone in my circle was selling information to the government, she did not come to me first. She tried to stop it herself." Elena listened, furious and glued to every word. "She broke into my office," Sal said. "She took a ledger and she ran. She hid it in a library. She planned to bring it back to me after she confirmed who the traitor was." His voice grew heavier. "She never made it back." Elena felt her stomach twist. Images burst into her mind. Her mother reading her bedtime stories. Her mother brushing her hair before school. Her mother hugging her so tight it almost hurt. "My mother was not a criminal," Elena said. "No," Sal answered. "She was better than all of us. That was why she had to die." Elena slammed her palm on the table. "You could have protected her." Sal's jaw clenched. "If the traitor knew she talked to me, they would have killed her in front of you. Then they would have killed you too. You were 5 years old. You cannot imagine the monsters that walk this world." Elena felt tears building in her eyes. She held them back until her throat burned. "So you let them take her," she whispered. "You let them murder her like she meant nothing." Sal closed his eyes for a moment, then opened them slowly. "I made sure her death looked natural. I made sure her body stayed intact. I made sure you were not in the house that night. I paid people to get you away from the scene before they came." Elena's heart stopped. "What do you mean before they came?" "They did not kill her instantly," Sal said. "They waited. They wanted to grab you and use you as bait. But by the time they broke down the door, you were gone. Because I sent someone to take you out the back window. Elena blinked. What someone? He swallowed. His voice dropped lower. A man you trust. Elena's eyebrows pulled together. Who? Sal stared at her, long and steady. Ask the man who raised you what really happened. Her breath froze. You mean Detective Falco? Sal did not nod. He did not speak. He did not need to. The air was filled with the answer. Elena shut her eyes. Her hands were sweating. Her skin felt hot, then cold, then hot again. Why would he be involved? Because he was there, Sal said. Elena's head snapped up. You are lying. He leaned closer. His eyes gleamed like someone remembering blood. Falco was one of mine before he was one of theirs. I used him to move money. I used him to clear evidence. Then he switched sides. People change, Elena said. People survive, Sal corrected. He offered the government information. Information about me. He traded my secrets for a new life. That is how rats live. Her stomach turned. Then why did he raise me? Sal took a slow breath. Because he realized killing a child was something only a monster would do. And he still wanted to believe he was a good man. Elena felt dizzy. Her entire life rewrote itself inside her mind. Birthdays, school plays, Christmas dinners, Falco's proud smile, Falco's tired eyes, Falco's advice, all poisoned. You are lying, she whispered again, but her voice sounded weak. You can believe the stories you told yourself, Sal said, or you can find the truth. It is in the locker. It is in the ledger. Your mother found the traitor. She copied the evidence. Falco found her trying to run. He wanted to protect you, not her. He took you. He left her. Elena stared at him, eyes wide, heart racing so fast she felt lightheaded. You are telling me Falco watched her die. I am telling you Falco chose which one of you lived. Silence. Pure, suffocating silence. Elena's fingers curled around the phone cord. She pressed her forehead against the glass. Her voice broke into pieces. I need to know who killed her. Sal's voice lowered. You already do. Elena wiped her face with her sleeve. She stood up. Her legs shook. Unlock the door, she told the guards. They moved. Heavy metal locks clicked open behind her. Sal lifted his hand one last time. Elena. She stopped. His voice was a breath. You do not know who you are yet. But when you find out, nothing will ever scare you again. Elena turned, met his eyes and whispered, I am not yours. A tiny smile touched the corner of his mouth. We will see. She walked away. She did not look back. She did not breathe until the doors shut behind her. Outside, the sun felt wrong. Too bright. Too warm for a world that ugly. Her skin prickled. Her head spun. People walked past her on the sidewalk. Laughing. Talking. Living normal lives. She hated them a little for that. She pulled out her phone. Typed the number she had memorized since childhood. Detective Roy Falco. She hit call. It rang once. Twice. He answered. Kiddo, he said, voice soft and warm. You all right? Elena could hear her heartbeat in her ears. Falco, she whispered. We need to talk. She heard his breath catch. He already knew. He already feared this moment. There was a long silence on the line. Then Falco's voice came back, low and shaky. Did you see him? Yes. And he talked. Yes. Another long pause. Then his voice roughened. Where are you now? Outside Coldwater. No, he said too quickly. Leave there now. Do not stand in the open. Get to a crowded place. Go somewhere with cameras. Her hand tightened. Why? Because they know, Falco whispered. Someone inside that prison works for the ones who killed your mother. If they saw you talk to him, they will come for you next. Elena felt something cold slide into her chest. She hung up, lifted her head, and saw a black car parked across the street. Engine running. A man in the passenger seat watching her through the window. She realized the truth. She was not safe. Not even for a second. She took a step backward. The car door opened. A man stepped out. Black coat. Black gloves. No expression. He started walking toward her. Elena's voice died in her throat. She turned. She ran. Her lungs burned. Her feet slammed the pavement. Behind her, footsteps followed. She didn't look back. She couldn't. Every breath tasted like fear. Every sound felt like danger. She ran into the crowd, between bodies, through traffic, under streetlights that buzzed like angry insects. The world blurred around her. She did not stop until she reached the train station. Her chest hurt. Her throat ached. She looked behind her. The man was gone, but the fear stayed. She walked to the ticket machine with shaking hands. She bought a ticket, a random destination, anywhere that was not here. She sat on the bench. Her legs trembled. Her heart would not slow down. She pressed her face into her palms and whispered, "What did you drag me into?" Her phone vibrated. A text message. Unknown number. 3 words. "We see you." Her stomach dropped. She looked up. Across the station stood the same man in the black coat. He did not move. He did not blink. She grabbed her bag and ran for the train. She jumped inside as the doors closed. The man reached them too late. He slammed his hand against the glass as the train pulled away. Elena sank into her seat, her whole body shaking. Somewhere behind her, the train hummed deeper down the tracks. Her eyes filled with tears, but inside the fear, something else grew. A spark, a flame, a decision. If her mother died for a secret, if Sal was dying for something he knew, then she would not run. She would find that locker. She would see what was inside, and she would learn the truth. Not the story she was told. The real story, the kind that kills people. Elena lifted her head. Her voice was a whisper only she could hear. This is not over. Far from it. And somewhere in Coldwater Penitentiary, Sal Moretti smiled. He knew she would run. He also knew she would come back. Because blood always returns to fire. And Elena's blood was born in flames. The train was cold. Not just from the air, but from the silence inside her chest. Elena sat by the window, arms wrapped around her bag, eyes locked on her reflection. But what stared back wasn't her. Not anymore. Her hair was messy. Her eyes were tired. Her heart was something else entirely now. It didn't beat like it used to. Something inside her had cracked wide open. And through that crack, the truth had started to crawl in. She checked her phone again. No messages. No signal. No comfort. She kept replaying that text in her mind. "We see you." Those words had teeth. Those words were a trap. They didn't just want to scare her. They wanted her to stop digging. But it was too late for that now. The train screeched as it slowed down into the next station. She stood up, gripping the rail with one hand and her backpack with the other. Her legs still felt shaky, but her mind had never been clearer. She stepped out into the cool morning light and made her way toward the heart of the station. Central, where everything started, where the answers waited. It was louder than she expected. People rushed past her in every direction. Shoes slapping tile, voices echoing, bags rolling. But all she heard was her own breathing. She walked toward the waiting area, scanning the benches. Then she saw it. A wooden bench with one of its metal rails broken at the edge. Jagged, rusted. She sat down slowly. Her fingers reached underneath the seat until they felt something cold and smooth. Piece of tape. She peeled it off carefully and found a folded scrap of paper stuck behind it. Her name was written in tight, dark ink. Elena. She opened it with shaking hands. The handwriting was neat, sharp, familiar. Inside were 6 words. Locker 312. Code 1975. Be fast. Her heart skipped. She stood up without thinking. Locker 312 was down the corridor near the bathrooms. She walked quickly, eyes darting everywhere. Every man looked suspicious. Every sound felt louder than it should. Every second burned on her skin. She reached the row of gray lockers. They stretched like coffins. Numbered. Dull. Silent. Her fingers found 312. She typed the code. 1975. The lock clicked. She opened the door. Her breath caught. Inside was a thick, heavy book. Worn leather. Torn edges. The Inferno by Dante Alighieri. She pulled it out slowly. Felt too heavy for a book. She flipped it open. Her stomach twisted. The center had been carved out. And inside the hollow space was a small USB drive and a brass key. The key was old, cold, marked with a single number, 58. And beneath it all, folded tight, was a hand-drawn map. She looked around. No one had followed her. At least not yet. She shoved everything into her bag and walked straight out of the station. Elena didn't go home. She didn't call Falco. She didn't even stop to breathe. Instead, she found an old internet cafe 2 blocks away. One of those forgotten places with scratched screens and dusty keyboards. She picked the farthest booth, inserted a coin, logged on, and plugged in the USB. The screen flickered for a second. Then a black window opened. Just one folder. For Elena. She clicked it. Inside were documents. Names. Numbers. Emails. Surveillance photos. Secret bank accounts. Politicians. Judges. Cops. Reporters. All of them linked to something dark. Something deep. Something bigger than just Sal Moretti. She clicked the next folder. Video. Her finger hovered. Then she pressed play. The screen turned black. Then faded into a small, dim room. And there he was. Sal Moretti. Not the prison version. This Sal was younger. Stronger. Sharper. He wore a black shirt. His tattoos were clearer. His voice came in like thunder behind glass. If you are watching this, he said, then I am dead. And if I am dead, then the people I'm about to name are already getting nervous. He leaned closer to the camera. No one thought I would ever talk. That's why I stayed silent for so long. I let them think I was weak. I let them think I was tired. His eyes narrowed. They should have known better. Elena couldn't move. She sat frozen, heart racing as he started listing names. One by one. Judges who fixed trials. Senators who took blood money. Police chiefs who buried bodies. Then came the last name. Roy Falco. Her whole body went cold. Sal stared through the screen. Falco was mine, he said. Until he wasn't. He made a deal. Sold out your mother. Then played the hero. His voice was steel. He doesn't deserve your love. But he earned your silence. He saved your life. Even if it cost hers. The screen went black. Elena sat still. The air around her felt thick. Her chest burned. She wanted to scream. She wanted to cry. She wanted to ask someone if any of this could possibly be true. But there was no one to ask. Only a ghost on a screen. Only a key in her bag. And a story that was just beginning to unfold. She opened the map. It was hand-drawn, sketched in black ink. Simple but clear. A bank. An address. And circled in red. Deposit box 58. She folded it up. slid it into her pocket, picked up her bag. Then she walked out of the cafe, head down, mind racing. But she didn't see the man standing across the street. He wore a dark coat, a baseball cap pulled low, and a small black device in his hand. He was watching her. He had been since she opened the locker. And now he was moving. Elena took the train to the bank. It was a small building. Quiet. No line. A security guard nodded as she stepped inside. She walked up to the counter. "I need to access box 58, she said. "I have the key." The woman behind the glass smiled. "Name?" Elena paused. She couldn't say Moretti, so she used the name on the paper. Elena Russo. The woman typed it in, then nodded. "Right this way." They led her into a back room. Clean, cold, private. The metal wall of boxes stared down at her like silent machines. The woman handed her the key again. She inserted it into the small box, clicked, and opened. Inside was a black leather notebook. Thick, heavy, covered in dust. She pulled it out slowly. It had no title, no label, just one thing etched into the inside cover. "For my daughter." Her hands trembled. She opened it. The pages were filled with names, amounts, symbols, passcodes, addresses. But some pages were written in a code she didn't understand. Numbers matched with drawings. X's circled in red. Sketches of buildings. A list of people. And what looked like planned accidents. Sudden deaths. Her mother's name was there too. Under it, a single word written in bold letters. Protected. Elena covered her mouth. She didn't want to cry, but her throat ached. Her hands curled around the book like it might disappear. Then she heard it. A sound in the hallway. Footsteps. Quick. Heavy. She looked at the bank clerk. "Are we done?" she asked quickly. The woman smiled, nodded. "Yes, you can go now." Elena grabbed the book, shoved it in her bag, rushed toward the front door. But as she stepped outside, that same black car from earlier rolled to a stop across the street. The man in the coat stepped out. He was holding something small in his hand. Not a gun. A photo. He showed it to someone near him. A second man stepped out behind him. They crossed the street, heading toward her. Elena turned, ran down the block. They followed. Fast. She turned left, then right, into traffic, through honking cars. She heard a shout behind her. She didn't look back. She ran until her lungs gave out. She ducked into a subway tunnel, down the stairs, onto the platform. No train in sight, but she didn't stop. She hid behind a column, held her bag tight, waited. Seconds passed. Then a train roared in. She jumped inside as the doors closed. The two men reached the platform too late. Again, they watched her as the train pulled away. Elena leaned against the door. Her eyes were wide, her mouth dry, but her grip on the bag had never been stronger. She had the book. She had the truth. But now, they knew she had it, and this time they would not miss. The train hissed into the tunnel like it was hiding something. Elena stood near the door, her fingers tight around the strap of her bag. Inside, the black ledger pulsed like a secret heart. Every bump of the train felt like someone whispering her name. She didn't sit down. She didn't blink. Her eyes stayed locked on the dark windows. They were still out there, whoever they were, whatever they wanted, and they knew she had it now. When the train stopped, she stepped out fast. She didn't wait for the crowd. She didn't walk slow. She moved like someone being hunted, because she was. The cold air outside slapped her face, but it felt better than the silence of the tunnel. She took the long way home, 2 extra blocks, 3 random turns. Once she even ducked into a corner shop and came out through the back. Still, the feeling stayed. That heat behind her spine. That invisible string pulling tight from her back to the eyes she couldn't see. She reached her apartment building and paused at the door. It was closed, just like she left it, but something felt off. She climbed the stairs slow, one at a time. No creaks, no sound. When she reached her floor, her fingers stopped an inch from the doorknob. The door was still locked, but the smell was wrong. The air smelled like sweat and rubber, like gloves. She didn't turn the knob. She leaned forward, ear pressed to the door. Silence. Too much silence. Her hand reached into her bag. She pulled out the smallest screwdriver she had, the one she used for her bike. She gripped it like a knife. Then she unlocked the door and pushed it open with her foot. Her apartment was dark. No lights, no movement, but her bookshelf was tilted. Her drawers were open, and the picture of her and Falco on the wall had been smashed. Someone had been inside. Someone looking for what she now had. She backed out. Slow, quiet, then ran. Not down the hallway, not out the front. She ran up the stairs, onto the roof. She didn't stop running until she reached the opposite side and crouched low behind the air vents. Only then did she check her phone. No new messages, no calls, just one photo, a new one, a picture of her standing in front of locker 312. Sent from a number with no name. She stared at it. Her blood ran cold. This wasn't a random break-in. They were watching her. Every step, every move. And now, they wanted to erase her. There was only one person left to call. She didn't want to, but she had no choice. She hit the contact. Roy Falco. Where are you? His voice came through fast. Worried. Breathless. They were in my apartment, she said. She didn't have to explain who. He already knew. There was a long silence. Then he spoke. Get to the bridge by 5th and Monroe. Under it. 10 minutes. He hung up. Elena kept moving. Down the fire escape. Through alleyways. Under blinking signs. Every person who passed her felt like a threat. Every sound made her twitch. The city was too loud, too alive. But her world felt like it was closing. When she reached the bridge, it was nearly empty. Only one car waited under the shadows. Falco stood beside it. He looked older than usual. Hair messy, coat too big, eyes full of things he wasn't saying. When he saw her, he stepped forward. But she didn't stop walking. She walked straight up and shoved her finger into his chest. You lied to me. His face didn't move. Elena, you knew. All these years. You knew who I was. Who my mother was. What happened to her. His voice was tight. I tried to protect you. She laughed, sharp and bitter. No, you tried to bury me. Falco looked away. His hand rubbed the back of his neck. His breath came short. I was with him, he said quietly. Her stomach twisted. I worked for Sal, he continued. A long time ago, before you were born. I was deep in. I did things I'm not proud of. She stared, waiting for the rest, waiting for the part that would finally make sense. I flipped when they offered me a deal. I gave up names, but I refused to give up your mother. I loved her too. Elena's voice cracked. You watched her die. Falco shook his head hard. I didn't know they were coming. By the time I got there, she was already. He stopped, like the word wouldn't come out. I found you in the back room, he whispered. You were hiding in the closet, holding her scarf. Tears stung Elena's eyes, but she didn't let them fall. You took me because you felt guilty. I took you, he said, because I didn't trust anyone else to keep you safe. They stood in silence. The city hummed above them. Cars passed on the road. Lights flickered on buildings. But under that bridge, it felt like the world had stopped. Falco looked at her bag. You found the ledger. She nodded. He sighed. You need to disappear. Leave town. Go somewhere quiet. Somewhere small. No, she said. Elena, listen to me. No, she said again. Firmer. She stepped forward. You were supposed to protect me. Not hide me. Not lie to me. You raised me like I was yours. But I was never yours. I was his secret. Falco looked shattered. I did what I had to. Then so will I. She turned to go. But Falco's voice stopped her. There's another one. She turned back. What? Falco's eyes darkened. Another kid. One he raised. But not like you. What do you mean? He didn't raise him to hide. He raised him to rule. Elena's blood turned cold. A son. Falco nodded once. He's violent. Smart. Dangerous. Sal kept him in the dark until now. But if he knows you have the book. Elena finished the sentence for him. He'll come for me. Falco's eyes said everything. He won't talk. He won't threaten. He'll just kill. The wind picked up. Trash rustled down the sidewalk. Elena felt her heart beating in her teeth. I need to find him first, she said. Falco looked at her like she'd just set fire to herself. No, that's suicide. This is war, she said. She turned. And this time he didn't try to stop her. As she walked away, her phone buzzed. Another message. No words. Just a photo. A picture of her mother. Dead. Cold. Lying on the kitchen floor. Elena stopped in her tracks. Her hands shook. She looked up at the night sky. The stars weren't there. Only smoke. Only silence. Only ghosts. She saved the photo. Then deleted the message. No more running. No more hiding. She was hunted now. But hunters forget one thing. Sometimes prey bites back. The city didn't sleep. Not anymore. Not when names were being whispered in backrooms. Not when bloodlines were being unearthed from shadows. Not when ghosts were waking up and asking for vengeance. Elena stood at the edge of the rooftop across from her apartment. The streetlights flickered below like dying stars. Her breath fogged in the night air. Her bag lay heavy on her shoulder. Inside it, the ledger pulsed like a ticking bomb. She had just received the photo. Her mother's body. Lifeless. Cold. Sent by people who wanted to shut her up. But something inside her had shifted. Fear was still there. Yes. But behind it, something darker. Something sharper. She didn't go back to her apartment. She didn't go to a hotel. She went to the one place they'd never expect her to be. An old motel behind a strip mall. Broken neon signs. Dusty curtains. No cameras. No questions. She locked the door behind her and sat on the edge of the bed. Then she opened the black notebook. Page after page. Names. Money. Secrets. And somewhere in the middle, a file. Clipped in. Paper yellowed with age. Luca. No last name. No photo. Just one sentence written in Sal's handwriting. Raised in silence. Trained for fire. He will come. Elena's fingers tightened around the paper. Who was he? What did Sal create? And why now? She didn't sleep. Her eyes stayed on the window all night. Every sound outside made her heart thump harder. At dawn, she left. She walked through the city like a ghost wearing someone else's skin. Backpack tight, hoodie up, head down, until she reached the old train yard. A place she used to hide as a kid. No one came here anymore. It was perfect. But someone was already waiting. She saw him the second she turned the corner. A man sitting on a rusted crate. Arms crossed. Boots muddy. Jacket dark as oil. He looked up as she stepped into view. And smiled like a knife sliding out of a sheath. Elena, he said softly. She froze. His voice didn't match his face. It was smooth, calm, almost kind. But his eyes? He stood up slowly, taller than she expected. Stronger, not like a thug, like a soldier. Hair slicked back, beard short and sharp. Tattoos peeked from under his sleeves. One was a flame. One was her father's name. She didn't speak, didn't breathe. He walked closer, stopped just 5 feet from her. And then he said it, the line that made her chest crack open. He gave you the heart. He gave me the fire. Elena's hand dropped to her bag. I know who you are, she said. He grinned. I should hope so. I've been looking for you. Why? His eyes gleamed. Because we're family. She laughed bitterly. You think I'm gonna hug you? Luca tilted his head. No. I think you're gonna listen. He stepped closer. No fear. No hesitation. I was raised in the dark, he said. Trained by ghosts. Every move I make is because of him. You mean Sal? She snapped. I mean my father, Luca said. And yours. She wanted to hit him. She wanted to scream. But something about him kept her still. He was too calm. Too measured. The kind of calm that comes before someone pulls a trigger. I was meant to take the throne, he said. But then he gave you the book. His smile faded. That wasn't part of the plan. Elena narrowed her eyes. Good. Luca smiled again. But there was no joy in it. I read what's in that book. I've seen what it can do. Burn entire governments. Expose every fake smile in this city. He took a breath. And I want to use it. Elena raised her eyebrows. Use it how? To finish what he started. She stepped back. No. He blinked. No. You're insane. I'm focused, he said softly. You want to rule the ruins. I want to end them. He tilted his head. Why would you end something that was built for you? It wasn't built for me, she said. It was built by monsters to protect other monsters. Luca's voice dropped. Be careful what you call family. You're not my family, she whispered. You're wrong, he said. We're the same blood, same fire. You just haven't learned to use it yet. He walked in a slow circle around her. Predator steps. Measured. Quiet. You could stand beside me, he said. We could take everything. The accounts. The power. The respect. I don't want power. You will, he said. When they come for you. I already survived them. You haven't met the worst of them. She clenched her jaw. I'm not scared. You should be. He stopped walking. Stood still. Eyes locked on hers. I came here to offer you a deal, he said. One time. No second chances. She crossed her arms. I'm listening. We share the empire. 50-50. You give me the names. I give you protection. Together, we erase the past and build something new. Elena shook her head. Your new sounds like the old with better branding. His smile vanished. You say no, and I walk away. Good. But know this, he said slowly. If you leak what's in that book, I won't come back to talk. She didn't blink. I'll be waiting. Luca's face turned still, cold. Then he nodded once, stepped back, and disappeared into the shadows. Elena stood alone in the yard, hands shaking, legs stiff, but her voice still echoed in her mind. I'll be waiting. She meant it, even if she was lying to herself. That night, she found another safe place. An old friend's garage. Empty. Quiet. She locked the door, sat on the floor, pulled out the book. Her hands shook as she turned the pages. Every name, every secret. It was poison, and the whole city was sipping from it. She reached the back of the notebook. One last envelope. Sealed. She opened it. Inside, a single photo. Sal, standing beside a boy, smiling. That boy was Luca, and on the back, a note. He is what I made. You are what I lost. One will destroy. One will decide. Elena pressed the photo to her chest. She didn't cry. Not anymore. She was too tired. Too full of rage. Too close to the truth. Luca was coming. And now, she knew what was at stake. Not just her life, but the future of every secret her father buried. Every lie this city swallowed. Every drop of blood spilled in silence. This war had begun. But she wasn't just a target anymore. She was a weapon. And she had fire too. Elena sat on the cold garage floor. The lights above her flickered like old memories. The photo of Luca and Sal lay in her lap. One smiling like a father. The other like a weapon. She had seen what Luca became. She had heard his deal. She had felt the heat of the fire he carried. But now she knew something else. Luca wasn't the final danger. The secrets inside that book were. And tonight, she would unlock them. Her fingers trembled as she sent the message. One word. Now. A few minutes later, her phone pinged. Location sent. She grabbed her bag, tucked the ledger tight against her ribs, then pulled on her hoodie and slipped out through the alley behind the garage. The city didn't look like itself anymore. Not after everything she'd seen. It looked sick. Bright lights covering something rotten. People laughing while being lied to. Roads paved over blood. And now, she was carrying the key to blow it all open. The meetup spot was hidden behind a music store. No signs. No security. Just a green door with chipped paint and a single buzzer. She pressed it once. No sound. But the door clicked open. Elena stepped inside. The air smelled like wires and dust. A man sat in the back corner, surrounded by screens and cords. He didn't look up. He was younger than she expected. Maybe 30. Hair messy. Eyes locked on a blinking monitor. You Elena? He asked, still typing. Yeah. He finally looked up. Sit. Don't touch anything. Ever. She placed the USB and the black notebook on the desk. His eyes flicked down, then widened. This is real. She nodded once. He gave a low whistle and cracked his knuckles. You just brought a flamethrower into my life. Can you decrypt it? He smirked. I can read dead languages. This is child's play. He plugged in the drive, scanned the files. His face slowly shifted from cocky to confused, then to shocked, then to still. Holy! Elena leaned forward. What's in it? He turned the screen toward her. There are files in here that don't just expose people. They erase them. Judges, cops, government, organized crime. And not just in your city. This thing touches 7 states. Maybe more. He clicked another folder. Sal's voice filled the room. A video. Same one as before. But this time it was longer. Sal leaned toward the camera. His voice colder. His face more tired. I didn't build an empire to get rich. I built it to stop worse men from getting power. You think I'm a monster? Maybe. But there are worse. The ones in suits. The ones you vote for. The ones who smile while they order your silence. Elena's heart pounded. Sal leaned in closer. If you're watching this, I'm dead. And so is everything I built. Unless you do something about it. The screen went black. Silence filled the room. The hacker leaned back in his chair. You leak this, and cities will burn. Elena stared at the blank screen. Her hand clenched on the strap of her bag. Can you trace where this was filmed? Already did, he said. Some old safe house outside the city. But it was wiped clean years ago. No cameras. No prints. Just dust. She felt sick. Everything was leading in circles. Secrets inside secrets. She stood up. I need the files. All of them. Copied. Ready to move. He nodded, typing fast. She paced the room. Her mind spun. If she leaked the confession, powerful men would fall. But people would die too. Innocent people. If she stayed quiet, she would be safe. But the city would rot forever. Then her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered. A nurse's voice spoke gently. Is this Elena Russo? Yes. Salvatore Moretti requested you. He's been moved to the medical wing. He doesn't have long. Elena felt the floor tilt under her. When? Now, the nurse said. If you want to say goodbye, this is your chance. She hung up without answering. Her hands were cold. The hacker looked up from the screen. What happened? Elena didn't speak. She just grabbed the USB, stuffed it back in her bag, and ran. Back outside, the world was louder. She could hear every siren, every footstep, every heartbeat. Sal was dying, and he wanted her to hear his last breath. She reached Coldwater Penitentiary by nightfall. The lights above the gates flickered. Guards moved like shadows behind fences. A woman in white waited by the gate. Follow me, she said quietly. No questions. No hesitation. Elena's shoes echoed through the hallway. The prison smelled like bleach and regret. Doors buzzed open. Lights flickered overhead. Then she saw him. Sal was lying in a hospital bed. Thin, pale, eyes half closed. But when he heard her footsteps, they opened. Just a little, but enough. Elena walked to the edge of the bed. Sat down slowly. No glass between them this time. No phones. Just silence. And history. I watched the video, she said softly. His lips curled. I figured you would. You lied to everyone. No, he whispered. I just told pieces of the truth. One at a time. She looked at him. The man who started all of this. The fire. The blood. The war. Why me? She asked. You were the only thing I ever regretted losing. He coughed. A thin line of blood touched his lip. I didn't want you to take the empire, he said. I wanted you to destroy it. Elena's hands gripped the edge of the bed. I don't know if I can. You can. I'm scared. You should be. She blinked. Sal turned his head slowly. I wasn't always the villain, but I learned how to play him well. Elena leaned closer. Who's still watching me? His eyes darkened. Everyone. They sat in silence for a long time. Then Sal whispered one last thing. You leak that video, they will come for you. Not to silence you. To own you. Elena's voice was barely a breath. What if I don't let them? Sal gave a tiny smile. Then maybe you're stronger than me. His breath slowed. The machines beeped softer. Elena reached out and took his hand. Cold. Thin. But still strong. Goodbye, Dad, she whispered. Sal Moretti didn't answer. But he didn't need to, because his eyes closed. And they never opened again. Back outside, the night was cold. Colder than usual. Elena stood by the prison gate. The USB burned in her pocket. Every streetlight looked like a warning. Every passing car a threat. But her hands didn't shake anymore. Her heart didn't race. She pulled out her phone, opened the files, selected them all, and hit upload. Within minutes, the world started to change. The video was out. The truth was no longer in a file. It was everywhere. Every phone, every screen, every shadowed corner of the city. It was on the news. It was whispered in backrooms. It was printed on paper and glued to walls. People didn't know whether to run, hide, or pick a side. But Elena, she was done hiding. The wind pushed through her coat as she stood outside Coldwater Penitentiary. The sky was pale, not cloudy, just tired, like the city itself. Two guards waited at the gate. They didn't ask questions. They already knew who she was. The girl who cracked open an empire. One of them opened the door. The other nodded silently. She stepped inside. The walk felt longer this time. Her shoes echoed through the hallway like soft gunshots. Every buzz of a locking door made her skin itch. The nurse from before was waiting near the infirmary wing. She looked even more serious now. No words, just a nod. Then she stepped aside and motioned for Elena to enter. Elena walked in and stopped breathing. Sal Moretti was smaller than before. His body lay still in the white bed. His chest rose and fell in slow, shallow breaths. A clear oxygen mask covered the lower half of his face. But his eyes, they were open, and they were waiting for her. He didn't smile, didn't speak. He just lifted his hand, slow, heavy, and rested it on the glass wall that separated them. Elena walked forward and sat in the chair across from him. This time she didn't hesitate. She picked up the receiver and placed it against her ear. Sal's hand twitched slightly. He lifted the mask just a little. Enough to speak. "I saw what you did," he whispered. Elena's grip on the phone tightened. "You leaked it." She nodded. "You told me to." His lips curled slightly, not into a smile, more like the memory of one. "And now you'll see what I saw. The beast beneath the city." Elena leaned forward. "I didn't do it for you. I know. I did it for her." Sal's eyes darkened. She would have been proud. Scared, but proud. They sat in silence for a moment. Then he asked, "How bad is it out there?" Elena exhaled. "Bad. But maybe not forever." Sal blinked slowly. "I used to think power could protect people. That if I owned the streets, I could save the ones I loved." He paused. "But power only feeds itself. It doesn't love you back." Elena felt a sharp pain in her chest. "You let it kill her." Sal didn't flinch. "Yes." "Why?" His voice cracked now. "Because I thought I was too strong to lose. And she proved I wasn't." He looked at her, and for the first time she saw it. The regret, the sorrow, not for what he did, but for who he used to be. "I was trying to build a wall," he whispered, "around everything I loved. But you locked us out instead." He nodded once, just once. Then his voice dropped. "Falco." Elena's jaw tensed. "I know. He betrayed me," Sal said. "But he raised you." He took a shallow breath. "Which means maybe he did something right." Elena said nothing. "I could have killed him, but I didn't, because I knew, someday, he would be the only person between you and the fire." He looked her dead in the eyes. "I don't forgive him, but I don't hate him." Elena pressed her hand against the glass. For a moment it was just skin on skin. No empire, no names, no war, just a daughter, and the father she barely knew, who was dying in front of her. Sal reached up with what little strength he had left, placed his palm flat against hers. On the other side of the glass it lined up almost perfectly. His voice shook. "You were never meant to take my place." Elena's throat burned. "Then why give me the ledger?" Sal closed his eyes. "Because you were meant to destroy it." The machines beeped slower now. His breaths came thinner. "I didn't bring you into this world to carry my sins," he whispered. "I brought you here to burn them." Tears slid down Elena's cheeks. She didn't wipe them. She let them fall. Because this time, she needed to feel it. All of it. Sal looked up one last time. "There's an envelope," he said. "One of the guards will give it to you." "What's in it?" His lips barely moved. "Instructions." Elena shook her head. "I don't want any more of your games." His eyes glistened. "It's not a game. It's closure." The beeping grew faint. His hand slid slowly down the glass. Elena stood there, frozen, watching, waiting, but the sound never came back. The machine beside him stopped beeping completely, and Sal Moretti was gone. A guard stepped in quietly. He didn't speak, just walked over, handed Elena a thick, white envelope, then walked out again. She stared at it, felt the weight, not just of the paper, but of everything inside it. Back outside, the wind cut through her like a whisper. She sat on the prison steps, opened the envelope. Inside was a handwritten note. No greeting, no goodbye, just this. If you make it this far, then you're ready to know what's next. I never wanted you to become me, but I knew one day you'd have to stand where I stood. This isn't a crown. It's a target. Choose what you do with it, but choose fast. Beneath the note was a folded document, coordinates, a final location, and one line beneath them, only one more secret left. Elena stared at it for a long time, then folded it up and tucked it into her jacket. Sal was gone, but his fire was still burning. Now it was hers, and the last secret was waiting. The prison gates closed behind her, but nothing felt closed. Not the war, not the past, not her heart. Elena stood on the sidewalk with the envelope still clutched in her hand. Inside it were coordinates, a final location, a final secret. But not tonight, not yet. Tonight was for fire. She didn't take a cab. She didn't wait for a train. She walked through streets that buzzed with tension, past faces that looked lost, under skies that looked like they were about to cry. Her phone buzzed every few seconds. New messages, news alerts, calls from people she didn't know. The city had seen the truth, and it was burning. 3 hours earlier, she had uploaded everything. The video, the names, the ledger, not just to one place, to all of them. Newsrooms, online whistleblowers, activist feeds, journalists waiting for a story that would tear down the rich. She made sure it couldn't be erased. She made sure it couldn't be buried again. Now the city was shaking under its own secrets. Headlines screamed from screens in every diner and store window. Mafia ledger leaked. Judges, politicians, police named in Moretti files. Leaked footage. Sal Moretti's final confession. Moretti's daughter behind historic leak? She saw her name online. She saw her mother's face. She saw Luca's shadow. But she didn't hide. She walked into it. Head up, heart steady, eyes burning. By nightfall, the cracks had split wide open. Police scanners chirped with chaos. A judge had been found dead in his mansion. Pills spilled. No note, just silence. A well-known news anchor resigned live on air. No apology, just tears. A crooked district attorney disappeared from his home. No trace, no goodbye. And somewhere in the shadows, Vito Barone vanished. The last of the old dogs. The last man alive who once stood beside Sal at the top. Now he was smoke. Gone. Luca went underground. No calls. No photos. No threats. But Elena knew he was watching. Waiting. Planning something darker. Falco wasn't so lucky. They came for him just before sunrise. 2 black cars. No sirens. No shouting. Just quiet men in suits who took him from his home and walked him into a building with no sign. Interrogation. His face showed up on the evening news. He looked tired. He looked small. He looked like a man who carried too many sins and finally dropped them all at once. Elena watched it all unfold from a motel room on the edge of the city. She hadn't eaten. She hadn't slept. But she felt more alive than she ever had. Then came the knock. Soft. Twice. Then a pause. Then once more. She opened the door. A woman stood there in a black coat, heels clicking on the cheap motel floor, hair pinned back, eyes sharp. "You're Elena," she said. Elena didn't answer. "I work for someone who thinks you're useful," the woman said. "Useful how?" "You broke the machine," the woman said. "Now we want to help you build a better one." Elena laughed, bitter and low. "No, you haven't even heard the offer." "I don't need to," Elena said. The woman stepped closer. "We're offering you power." "I don't want it." "We can protect you." "I can protect myself." The woman's lips curved, just a little. "You're smarter than your father." "I'm not him," Elena said coldly. "No," the woman said. "But the world thinks you are now." She slipped a card onto the nightstand. "No pressure, but pressure is coming. When it does, remember who offered first." She walked away without looking back. Elena stared at the card. No name, no title, just a number. She didn't pick it up. She left it there, let it sit like a dare. That night, she walked to the bridge near 5th and Monroe, the same one where Falco once told her the truth. She stood there now alone. The city spread out in front of her. Louder, angrier, awake. She pulled out the last piece of the envelope. The coordinates, folded neatly, written in her father's hand. A secret waiting to be uncovered. The final one. Her phone buzzed again. Another news alert. Federal task force formed to investigate Moretti revelations. Another one. Luca Moretti. Silent, dangerous, and missing. Another one. Is Elena Russo the new queen pin or a revolutionary? She put the phone in her pocket. The wind brushed against her cheeks. Cold, fresh, unforgiving. A car slowed near the bridge. Black. Window rolled down just enough to show eyes. Elena turned away before she could see who it was. She didn't want to know. Not yet. Maybe never. Because power was a cage made of gold. And she had already escaped once. She wasn't going back. Let them fight over the ruins. Let them wonder what she would do next. Let them guess. Because tomorrow, she had a new path. The last secret waited for her. And with it, maybe, the truth she still didn't have. She looked at the stars, finally visible again. She thought of her mother, her real one, and whispered to the wind. "I did it." No one answered, but the silence was enough. It didn't haunt her anymore. It held her, like peace, like goodbye. The fog rolled in before sunrise, soft, pale, cold like breath on glass. The grass was wet under her boots. The air smelled like pine and ash. Everything was quiet except for the birds, but even they sounded tired. Elena walked up the hill without rushing, step by step, each one slow, each one sinking into the soft dirt like she had done this before. There were no guards, no cameras, no fences, just rows of silence. And the man who used to own everything, now buried without a name. Sal Moretti's grave had no flowers, just a flat stone, no dates, no cross, no carvings. Just cold stone and damp ground. Elena stood over it and said nothing. Not at first. She pulled a folded piece of paper from her coat, pressed it between her fingers, bent her knees and knelt beside the grave. She placed the paper gently on the stone, then sat back on her heels. And finally, she whispered, "I still don't forgive you." The fog around her didn't move. Her breath hung in the air. She closed her eyes. "But I understand now." She stayed like that for a while. Just her. And the man who used to be a myth. A monster. A father she barely knew. Everything inside her was quieter now. Not empty. Just still. Like a storm had passed, but left nothing untouched. Weeks had passed since the leak. The world had changed. The city had flipped on its side. They called it the Purge. News outlets dropped names every day. People who ruled the system. People who never got caught. Until now. Some vanished. Some confessed. Some burned everything and ran. Elena watched it all from far away. Not from rooftops. Not from shadows. Just from places no one thought to look. They still didn't know what to do with her. Some called her a criminal. Others called her a hero. A few wanted her arrested. A few wanted her protected. And the ones who understood her, they stayed silent. Because they knew the cost. Luca never resurfaced. His name showed up on a few lists. Whispers. Blurry footage. A bar fight. A body that looked like his. But wasn't. Elena knew he was still out there. She could feel it in her bones. But not today. Today wasn't about war. It was about something else. She rose to her feet. Looked down at the paper one last time. It didn't say much. Just one short message. Written in her hand. You broke a lot of things. So did I. Maybe that means we're even now. But I'm done carrying your fire. I'll carry my own from here. No signature. No name. She didn't need to sign it. He already knew who it was from. The wind picked up as she turned to leave. Her coat swept behind her. The fog curled around her ankles. The hill sloped down in front of her like an open road. In the distance, she saw the city. Still alive. Still loud. Still trying to figure out what came next. The smoke had cleared from the sky. But not from people's eyes. Too much truth had come out. Too fast. Too deep. It would take time. Years maybe. But at least now the lies weren't running the place anymore. Elena walked down the hill with her hands in her pockets. No guards chased her. No cameras clicked. No one tried to stop her. Not this time. She passed an old man walking his dog. A woman lighting a candle at a grave nearby. No one recognized her. And that was perfect. Because she wasn't looking for recognition. She was looking for peace. At the bottom of the hill, a bus rolled to a stop. Its lights flickered in the fog. The doors opened with a soft hiss. She climbed in. No luggage. No name tag. Just a full heart and tired eyes. She took a seat by the window. The driver glanced at her in the mirror. You heading out? She nodded. Far. She smiled. As far as it takes. He didn't ask more. The doors closed. The bus pulled away. And just like that, she was gone. The city behind her started again. Brick by brick. A little slower this time. A little more honest. A little more afraid of the quiet ones. The ones who watch. The ones who know the cost of secrets. The ones who carry no flowers. Only fire.
Thank you so much for staying with me until the very end of this story. If you enjoyed this story, I promise you will surely love the next one. It's as crazier and more thrilling as you can ever imagine. So do check it out. Click on the image showing on your screen right now to watch the next one.